So what's going on? And welcome to the Q&A. We haven't done one of these in a while, but hopefully we can make these things a regular occurrence. And if you can hear me, if you can most importantly see me and hear me, type live down below. Or if you're watching this Q&A at a later time on a replay, type replay down below so I know when you saw this video and when you saw me. So the way this is going to work is I will see all of your comments on my screen. And if you have any questions regarding health, fitness, nutrition, maybe starting your weight loss journey, or maybe getting a little kick in the right gear, let me know your questions down below. I'll see them and hopefully I can answer as many as possible. Let me know down below if you can actually hear me and see me. I can see myself, I can hear myself, but I don't know if you can hear me and see me. We got some people watching this, but I'm not sure if this video feed is coming through. Are we live? What's up, Antique? What's going on, Sammy? So if you have any questions regarding health, fitness, nutrition, let me know down below. And before I get into the questions, I want to highlight on my Instagram and Facebook stories, I just posted a very awesome win from one of our personal clients, Fred. He actually started with us, I believe, in May. And since starting, he lost a good amount of weight, but he started with a crazy injury in his neck, surgery after the injury. So he wasn't really able to do a lot of different exercises, and it wasn't the easiest, process for him, to put it that way. But he still managed to lose weight. He still managed to do what he should have been doing in order to lose weight. And now I just posted a photo of his in-body scan that displays his body fat percentage change, his muscle change, and his body weight change. So if you haven't seen that, go to my Instagram at alex.solomon or my Facebook, one of those platforms, and see the change for yourself. Just wanted to share it with you. What's up, Cindy? You got your blood pressure down, all in moderation. Awesome. I appreciate everybody for being here. You're down 55 pounds. That's awesome, Jack. That's what's up. Let's hear some questions down below. Maybe I can help guide you on the right path to maybe starting a weight loss journey or in other areas. When working out, is it good to add more weight? My sister told me not to overdo it, but I feel like I'm stuck where I'm at. When working out, is it good to add more weight? So when working out, your main priority should be the concept of progressive overload. Progressive overload is essentially, if you have seen this infographic from that's been passed around for the decades right now or so far, it's a man carrying a baby calf up a mountain. And as the man walks further and further up the mountain, the baby calf gets bigger, it grows older, the man puts on more muscle. And that's the concept of progressive overload. You want to just do or increase a little bit of what you're doing over time. However, you can't always increase the weight you're using every single time you go to a workout, because even if you add in, let's say 2 pounds to an exercise every time you go work out, let's say you're working out 3 times a week, you can't consistently add that weight every single time. So what you could do is you can either increase the weight slightly, you can increase the reps you're doing, you can increase the amount of sets you're doing, but that was going to be pretty difficult. You can also reduce the rest period, because if you have less period between sets, you can actually you can put your muscle under a different kind of strain. And you just want to make the exercises a bit more difficult as you progress. What you can also do is keep it all the same, but make your reps a bit more difficult. And one way to make it a bit more difficult is to apply pause reps. What pause reps are is essentially, if you're doing, let's say, a bicep curl once in a while, right? You're going like this, or in a different motion, but you get the idea. What you can do is you can pause at the very top and or pause at the very bottom of the movement to make the rep a bit more difficult. This way, you're not adding weight, you're not adding reps or sets, you're making the current reps you're doing a bit more difficult. But the idea should be, how can you progress a little bit over time? Can I increase the reps, or add in an additional set, or can I add in a bit more weight? If you can't do any of those things, or if you want to choose a different route, reduce the rest period, or make your sets a bit more difficult, a bit more difficult. Hopefully that helps. What's up, Jenna? How do you walk 10,000 steps in the winter or poor weather? So it's a great question. So in New York, the weather gets pretty crappy sometimes. So I'm actually looking into getting a walking pad for the house. So it's essentially like a compressed treadmill. It doesn't go a very high speed. It's literally a treadmill, but only for walking. And it's a very It's a much smaller treadmill. You can put it under a couch. You can put it like behind some, I don't know, furniture. You can store it away pretty easily. But that's what I'm actually looking into getting right now. As far as what can you do if you don't have access to that, I mean, you can go to the gym and do your steps. You can also maybe try to time the weather a bit better. But if you want to get it done, you'll get it done. If you know that it's not gonna be raining between 6 and 7 p.m. Maybe you can squeeze in an hour of walking during that time period. Maybe you can go to the gym during that time period and get some steps in. It makes it difficult, but it doesn't make it impossible. How do I eat vegetables for breakfast? I'm lacking ideas. My go-to recipe, if you want to call that, to get vegetables in for breakfast is to use frozen vegetables. And frozen vegetables are the easiest way to get vegetables in if you don't want to prepare vegetables, if you don't want to cook vegetables. Just throw in some mixed frozen vegetables. You'll be absolutely fine. What's up, Robert? What do I do about the bad wings? I think you mean bat wings as you lose weight. So bat wings, if you know what Michelle's talking about, is essentially underneath the triceps. So especially a lot of women tend to have this issue is when you lose a lot of weight, since your muscle isn't as developed, you tend to get some sagging skin at the bottom of your arms next to your triceps or around your triceps. What you can do is focus on building as much muscle in the tricep area as possible, because when you lose weight, the area shrinks, right? But the skin, it has a certain level of elasticity, and once you stretch your skin past a certain way, it doesn't bounce back, which is why people get loose skin. And the bat wings are essentially just loose skin in the arm area. So what you can do is put on more muscle in the tricep area. So you can do either pressing motions, because every time your arm extends, almost knocked my light over, but every time your arm extends, your tricep gets worked. You can do overhead extensions. You can do push downs for the triceps with one arm or two arms. But the goal should be how do you lose as much fat in this area as possible, which you can't spot reduce, so you got to lose fat everywhere. And at the same time, how do you put on as much muscle as possible in the tricep area? So this doesn't mean you have to only do tricep exercises, because remember, your triceps get worked when you're doing, let's say, chest presses, overhead shoulder presses, push-ups, dips. Your triceps get worked every time your arm does an extension motion like this. Hopefully that helps. Keep asking me your questions. I'll try to get back to as many people as possible. Are higher reps 12 to 15% better for weight loss? So there is no specific repetition range that's better for weight loss. Weight loss is the most important concept for weight loss is how do you stay in a calorie deficit? How do you take in less calories than your body needs to maintain its weight on? That's it. So the goal as far as the training portion of the weight loss idea or weight loss progress should be, how do I put on as much muscle as possible? How do I get as strong as possible? Leave the actual weight loss and the fat loss to your nutrition and to your cardio that you're doing, but use the working out portion to put on as much muscle as possible. And you can also increase your metabolism by putting on more muscle, because muscle takes more calories to sustain itself than fat does. So you want to just aim to put on as much muscle as possible. As far as the repetition range that's the most beneficial for you, it's a huge range. It's not a small range like 10 to 15. It's a huge range. It's anywhere from, I believe, from like 8 to 25, because the most important thing as far as the reps you're doing is how intense are these reps? Are you putting your muscle on, or you can't speak right now, but are you reaching muscular failure when training? If the answer is no, you can do 50 reps with 2 pounds and not get anywhere. Or you can do 8 reps with a bit heavier weight and reach muscular failure and actually get as much benefit out of that exercise as possible. So you want to understand that it's not about the reps. The reps vary highly from like around 8 or 10 to about 25 or 30. It's about, for personally, I keep my reps around 10 to 15. During those 10 to 15 reps that I personally do, I'm not saying it's the best or the worst, I make sure that I reach failure. So failure is when you have proper form. That's key. Once your form starts to give out, it's not a proper rep. You should stop the sets. But during those 10 to 15 reps that I do, I make sure to reach muscular failure, because that's the point where your body grows the most. So muscular failure is when you can't do anymore because your muscle is just so fatigued, you can't give anymore. You've outworked it. So now it's time to take a break. Right, so that's what you want to aim for. If that helps you, just let me know down below. How do you stop drinking Cokes? I have one for breakfast, or at least I think I do. One of the best ways to stop drinking Cokes or any kind of soda is go for the diet or a uh, zero version of the Coke. That's it. Aspartame, people are going to get at me for saying aspartame is bad for you. Aspartame is safe for human consumption. It's not bad for you. But if you drown yourself in in an oil tanker size of Diet Coke, yeah, it's going to have some negative effects on your body. But nobody's drinking that much diet soda in a single month even. Okay, let's see what else. If you can hear me and see me, drop what's up, Alex, down below in the comments. You're 80 pounds from 383 pounds a year ago. You hit a plateau. Okay, so you dropped 80 pounds. You're stuck in the 260s. Any advice? So most of the time, a plateau is a plateau only if you're tracking everything and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing physically and not seeing progress. So if you're not tracking your food, if you're not tracking your exercise regimen, if you're not tracking your cardio regimen, if you're kind of just winging things and hoping for the best, that's not a plateau. That's just you being inconsistent in some kind of way. You're probably overestimating how much you're eating, and you're underestimating you're underestimating how much you're eating, and you're overestimating how much physical activity you're doing. So the only recommendation I would say in this scenario is to be more consistent. Track what you're doing. Track what you're eating. And once you get about 14 days of consistent data and nothing changes, you're probably in a plateau. But remember, the weight loss isn't just a plateau. You have to see your measurements. You have to see your progress photos. You got to see how much stronger you're getting. Maybe you're putting on muscle and losing fat. If you gain 5 pounds of muscle, which is it's a bit too much, let's say 2 pounds of muscle, and you lost 2 pounds of fat, your body's going to likely look different. Your measurements are going to change, but the scale's going to stay the same. That's not a plateau. That's your body going through a recomposition phase. So don't look at a plateau as a very linear point of view. A plateau is not what people think it is. A plateau is mostly if you're doing everything and your body is not changing, you're not gaining muscle and you're not losing fat. So a plateau isn't typically what people consider to be a plateau. Let's see. Does heart rate matter when exercising? So I would consider heart rate, definitely matters. There's different kinds of zones as far as cardio. There's a zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. And essentially that's if you keep your heart rate constant in a certain zone, and that zone is varies by heart rate monitors. So if you have a way to track your heart rate, you can see what zone you're in, and it will work different kinds of cardiovascular endurance and cardio. It will target different parts of the entire cardiovascular segment. So definitely there is a difference. And if you want to maybe work on sprinting, maybe it's to increase your fat loss. Maybe you want to increase your you want to get better at walking or jogging long distances. You got to look at different kinds of heart rate zones and try to be in that heart rate zone as much as you should be in order to get better at those goals. How much did I walk in the beginning to lose weight? I walked a lot. I would say hour to hour and a half every day. I used to be 365 back then. If nobody knows, that's why I'm answering this question about what I did back in the day. Are chair exercises okay as long as you do more difficult movements? So chair exercises, you can probably do some dips. You can maybe do some chair push-ups. You can do maybe some dumbbells in a chair. It's totally fine. Just make sure that you're doing the important exercises like the presses, the pulling, maybe some core workouts, and you're progressing over time, getting better at those exercises over a long period of time. Let's see some more questions. How do you start off by building a solid food plan so you can stay on track when eating? That's a great question, David. So, as far as food plans, I don't really like food plans because nobody can stick to the same plan for the rest of their life or even a year. So, your best bet is to figure out what foods you like eating, what foods you don't like eating. Delete the ones you don't like eating and stick to the ones you do like eating. They got to be healthy, obviously. But the main thing is to stay within a nutritional range that will help you lose weight if that's your goal. So if you should be consuming around 2,000 calories, right? How can you fill those 2,000 calories with as many foods that you like eating as possible? I'm not talking about cookies, like that's in moderation, but like high volume, nutritious foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, stuff like that. Pasta. And then once you understand how much you could be eating to meet those caloric requirements, you'll be absolutely fine and you wouldn't need a meal plan or a food plan. If anybody else has any questions, drop them down below in the chat. I see everybody's questions here, but I can't get back to everybody, and I'll try to get back to as many people as I can. Let's see. Great job, Jocelyn. What's up from Cape Town? That's far away. If anybody else has any recommendations for a walking pad, the one that you do, you can do your steps on in the house, let me know down below. Shoot me a message. I'm actually this close to buying one. I'm just not sure which one to get, because once the weather is crappy, once it's raining, snowing, or just freezing, I don't want to go outside. You've lost 30 pounds, amazing job, but you've been stuck without losing additional weight, even though you've been diligent with my diet and walking. How can I jumpstart weight loss again? So this question by Dana. If you have been diligent, if you've been doing everything as far as consistently consuming a range of similar calories, if you've been doing a level of physical activity that is relatively the same week in and week out, and you're not losing weight, there's a few things that you can do. This is a true plateau if the data is exactly what it is. So if your things are constant, now you should be not losing weight for around me, or nothing should be changing for about 2 or 3 weeks. If nothing changes for 2 or 3 weeks, then you're probably in a plateau. What you can do is reduce your calories by about 150, or anywhere in the range of 1 to 200 calories. You can also increase your physical activity. That's the hardest one to do. That's why you always want to eat as much as possible while being in a calorie deficit, because once you hit a true plateau, the hardest thing to do is to do more physical activity. The easiest thing to do, or the easier thing to do, is to reduce your food a little bit, your food intake by a little bit. Because if you're eating 1,200 calories, which I don't recommend most people to do, you can't really reduce your calories even less. Where you're going to eat like 1,000 calories, it's irresponsible. So your only choice would be to increase your physical activity. So reduce your calories slightly, maybe increase your physical activity by doing a bit more cardio, usually not with an extra physical activity, a strength building workout, because you don't want to add in a whole new workout. You want to just increase your cardio by a little bit, but you got to be extremely consistent with the things that you're doing and the things that you're adding. Hopefully that helps. How do you know how many calories you should be eating for fat loss? You can definitely go to online and go to a website called Google TDEE calculator, and that's going to give you a rough ballpark of where you should be aiming for free calories. We also do that for our clients, because when we work with people, we have to see how much they should be consuming in order to lose weight, and then we keep track of it and make adjustments as needed. But that's what you can do in order to get an idea of where you should be aiming. My issue is I'm struggling with just stepping out of my door to do it, even go for a walk, just to start. Your mindset. I know it's what you should be doing to get healthier, and you feel stuck. Is it because I'm fearful of succeeding? I would say possibly. A lot of people are, people aren't only scared of failure. People are scared sometimes of succeeding or success, because people have different fears, right? So in this sense, what I would say is you have to look at the bigger picture, right? Don't look at the weight loss. Look at what what is your pleasure island? What are you able to achieve once the weight loss becomes a reality for you? Are you able to go on trips that you can't go on currently? Are you able to do more physical things that you can't currently do? Are you able to spend time with your kids that you maybe can't spend time with them right now, or as much time with them right now, right? Can you go on a flight? Maybe you can't go on a flight right now. It's a reality for a lot of people. And picture your pleasure island and aim for that pleasure island. Don't look at the weight loss, because the weight loss, if you're focused only on that, is going to drive you nuts. Focus on things that weight loss is just a byproduct. You got to focus on the daily things, the habits that you should be doing every day to create the weight loss to be a result. So as far as what can you do to get out of the house, you have to time block, right? Don't leave walking out of your house to the last minute, because you got to get your steps in. Because if you kind of wing it, you're probably not going to, if you put it all for last minute, you're probably not going to do it. So what you can do is set aside a time block for yourself. Between 6:30 and 7 p.m., it's time for me to invest in myself, right? these 30 minutes is me time. I'm going to use these 30 minutes. It's a non-negotiable to walk outside and just go, right? You have to make these things non-negotiable for yourself, because if you kind of say, I want to do them, but I don't know if I actually should do them, you need to do them. That's your non-negotiable. Make it, write it on your wall, write it on your phone, set an alarm for yourself. Like, this is me time. It's a non-negotiable for you. And once you make these certain habits non-negotiables for yourself, they will have to get done regardless of your motivation level, because motivations might be there for a couple of days, but it's not going to be there for the vast majority of the month. So don't allow yourself to rely on motivation. When you're sick, do you still work out? When I'm sick, no, I don't. I mean, I don't want to infect other people. That's one of the first things. But on top of that, I want to recover. And if you don't give yourself enough time to recover, you're probably going to be sick way longer than you would have been if you just didn't work out and focus on recovery. So number one priority is recovery. Maybe go for a walk if you're able to, but you can still focus on nutrition. If you can still focus on nutrition while recovering, you'll still stay on track. What's up, Mark? Been in a plateau for over a month. You've lost 45 pounds. That's awesome, but want to lose more. Any suggestions? Again, if you're in a plateau, make sure you're tracking your calories in and your activity level. If you're not tracking anything, spend the next 2 weeks just tracking things every single day. And I can almost guarantee you, if you haven't been tracking it previously, your fat loss will be just sparked immediately. What's up, Debbie? Can I make any progress with 2 to 10-pound dumbbells and 15-pound kettlebell and a resistance band at home? You have a gym membership, but due to situations with my mom, you can't easily access it. Absolutely. A lot of our clients don't go to the gym. A lot of our clients work out at home with either dumbbells, some have barbells at home, some have resistance bands at home only, right? So you can make a vast amount of progress at home, even with your body weight, right? And there's different things, different exercises that you can do to accommodate that, right? There's whole banded workouts you can do. There's whole dumbbell workouts you can do. You can throw in some body weight or like kneeling push-ups if you can't do a regular push-up, right? There's different combinations you can do. And that's exactly what we help our clients do, because a lot of times our clients don't want to go to the gym for whatever reason, which is fine. We can still get a lot of work done at home. I would actually say most of our clients don't go to the gym, come to think of it. How do you get rid of the takeaway cravings when trying to be clean? What's up, Vinay? Takeaway cravings. The thing about takeaway or takeout, if you're in the States, is you will almost always, I would say for the vast majority of the time, you're going to make better progress if you can actually prepare your own food. Because if you are preparing your food, you're probably not using as many sauces, you're not using as many greasy or oils as maybe a restaurant would use to make the food taste better, because the restaurant's main priority is to, aside from making money, is to make the food taste as best as possible. And that's usually done by making the food be more extravagant as far as adding more oils, greasy things, sauces, and sugars and stuff like that. So prepare your own food. But as far as the takeaway cravings, the biggest tip I can give you if you don't work from home is to bring food with you to work every single day. Make that a non-negotiable for yourself, because if you don't have food with you when you're at work, you're gonna end up going to a takeaway spot, ordering something, or just going to a drive-through. Like, you have to eat. So what are you gonna do to eat if you have no food on you? You're gonna resort to the other options. Maybe go to a grocery store and get, I don't know, 2 Snicker bars or something, right? So definitely bring food with you. But what you can also do is, what I recommend to a few people, is to find a meal prep company. And what I would recommend around meal prep is, if you have a single meal during your day when you're at work that you usually order out for that meal. If this meal is, let's say, a lunch meal, your breakfast is fine, your dinner is fine, but during lunch you just have no food on you, and you end up going out because you're at work and you're around other coworkers and you want to go out to eat. Get 5 meal prepped meals for work. So that way you're not getting 15 meals a week, because that'd be pretty expensive. You're getting 5 meals a week. And you're making your choices for 5 days a week to be better, because that one meal that got you off track previously is now replaced by a meal that's going to keep you on track way better. So look into meal prep companies. They're definitely a good option for a lot of people. If you're getting value from this Q&A so far, drop a fire emoji down below. Do I have a recommendation for a great macro calculator? Many of the calculators online show different macros. I would just type in TDEE calculator into Google, and one of the first few options is usually it's good enough. You do good for about 6 to 7 months, then you fall apart and go back to bad habits. How can I make this a life change? I'm so proud. Then you get frustrated. Lifelong battle. You got to set for yourself longer time frames. That's number one. Number two, don't get just engulfed in focusing on the number on the scale. Focus on the habits that you can do every single day that will allow that weight loss number to go down eventually. Because if you try to focus on the number on the scale, you will do whatever it takes for that number to go down every single time. But a number is not going to go down every time because your body weight fluctuates, your food intake fluctuates, your liquid intake fluctuates. You sweat more one day and less the next day. You eat, like me, 2 pounds of, I don't know, giant salads one day, and I'm up 2 pounds, and I didn't gain any fat, but I gained weight because I ate more than usual, right? So don't look at the number on the scale. Focus on the habits that you should be doing every day for the long term. And the third thing is, don't follow any diets because you will likely not be able to follow a single specific diet for the rest of your life, which is why I recommend for everybody that I'm talking to, especially our clients, is we don't do diets. There's no diets that any of our clients are on. We focus on nutrition, the proper foods, the right amounts, the right moderations, because the goal with everybody that we work with is to make sure that your weight loss progress is as sustainable as possible. And the only way to achieve that is to understand that I can eat this food and maybe I should eat less of that food. It's a very sustainable approach because if you're following a diet, you might last 6 months, like you said, Michelle. You might last 2 months on a diet and just kind of throw your hands in the air and just say, screw, I can't maintain this diet. And that's fine because nobody can maintain a diet for the rest of their lives. If you can't see yourself doing it for the rest of your life, I would say just don't even do it now. Don't waste your time on it. What's up, Karen? What's the best way to heal stress eating when I work long 12-hour shifts in a hospital and so much junk food is out? If you're constantly at work, or if you're at work and you're constantly eating snacks that probably aren't the best for you, and you're still bringing snacks with you to work, I would say bring an abundance of food with you to work. If you bring currently 2 apples and 2 yogurts for a snack, bring 5 apples, bring 4 yogurts instead, bring a whole meal. You want to have more food in reserve because when you get stressed out, which it sounds like it's happening on a regular basis, and you've already depleted your food that you've brought with you to work, the only options available are items that your coworkers have probably bought or vending machines, right? You want to have that peace of mind in back of your head that tells you that I have more food with me because I prepared for this. So bring more food with you. Even if you think that you're not going to need that food today whatsoever, the fact that you have it on you is going to be an amazing thing because once that occurrence happens, once you work, or maybe once no, you can't really you can't know how you're going to feel for the rest of the day, right? Things may come up, stress may come up. So you want to have that food on hand so you can reach for it and still stay on track. What's up, Lewis? You 6 pounds down since the last month and more to come. That's right. That's awesome, man. Keep it up. Do I have any tips for carving out time to exercise with 3 kids and a wife? Absolutely, Brian. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I tell my clients. And a lot of my clients are busy parents. It is what it is. Can they still get things done? Do they still get things done? Absolutely. It's not the easiest, but the best thing that you can do for yourself is get your workout done in the morning. Make that a non-negotiable. You're going to feel like a zombie. You're not going to want to do it. You're not going to be as energetic, but the satisfaction of doing the workout and still doing what you're supposed to be doing is just amazing because you don't have to look forward, or you don't got to look towards doing a workout at the end of your day because things may come up. Your kids need to get changed, get fed, get taken care of, picked up from school and stuff like that. And things just come up. But if you get a workout done in the morning before anybody is up, you completely allow the variables that are going to happen or the things that may happen later on in the day just not play an effect in your progress. So it's better to kind of just suck it up and do the workout in the morning than to leave it on for last minute and just not get to it, right? It's the hard truth, but it definitely helps. What's up, Linda? How do carbs play into calories? I notice you choose lower carb bread and tortillas. Yeah, so carbs are the easiest thing to eat. Carbs and fats. I mean, you look to your left, you look to your right, you can sniff the air and you're gonna get carbs, a carb whiff, right? Carbs are everywhere. And what I would recommend is to pick more voluminous carbs because carbs are usually packed, right? Potato chips, cookies, pretzels. They're usually very small volume foods that pack a lot of calories. That's just the way that it is. And carbs don't fill you up. So, as far as what you should be aiming for in a weight loss phase is to fill yourself up with as much food as possible for the least amount of calories to keep you as full as possible for the longest amount of time. You can do that simply by eating more protein because protein is the most satiating macronutrients, and get your carbs from fruits and vegetables and snacks once in a while because you got to have your dessert, and lit the fats. And when I say limit, I get a lot of crap for this. People tell me, oh, why do you say eliminate? I never say eliminate. I say limit. You want to limit your fats because fats are extremely calorically dense. You put a little bit of olive oil, which is great, in your food, it just bumps up the caloric content drastically. So limit it. Don't eliminate it. Just use it for flavor. Use it to like cook your food, but limit the fats, and that is it. What's up, Justin? You used to have a personal trainer 7 times a week at the gym. That's awesome, but man, 7 times a week training with a personal trainer, that's just too much, in my opinion. Our personal clients don't work out anywhere close to that. You got to recover. Remember, your muscles actually grow and get stronger when you recover, not when you're actually putting them under tension and under pressure. So you got to actually recover properly. What's up, Angie? You turn 50 in a year. Any tips for women that are having a hard time losing weight that might be hormone related? I'm walking regularly and eating well, but the scale does not want to change. So, first of all, as far as your hormone levels, if you're possibly, I would say get a professional's opinion or professional test done to see how your hormones are because you may have a hypothyroid. However, if you have hypothyroid, it reduces your basal metabolic rate slightly. It doesn't make it impossible, it makes it more difficult. So with that being said, if you do happen to have this issue, which may be a possibility, you will need to consume a bit less calories than somebody else who's a direct copy of you who doesn't have hypothyroid. That's it. And the biggest tip that I can give you, Angie, is to track all the things that you eat for at least 14 days and try to track things that you're doing every single day. So if you're going for a walk today, jot it down, look at a chart, look at an Apple Watch, look at your phone step counter, make sure you're having a consistent level of steps done for the next 14 days. Track everything because what's that saying? If it's not measured, it's not managed, right? So you got to manage these things by measuring them. So track things every single day until you understand that what you're doing has a certain effect on your progress. And you will find that magically you'll start losing weight. That's what happens every single time. How do you start walking with 2 bad knees? That's a very specific question. I don't know the severity of your knees. I mean, you can definitely start by maybe going to the pool, building some strength, maybe try to feel a bit better. Maybe a stationary bike, maybe the elliptical machine if you have access to that. But little by little, get stronger. If you can't walk, then you can't walk. There's other things you can possibly do in order to do cardio. What's up, Jennifer? You're focusing on eating more protein. Do you eat the same amount on my days I'm not working out? Yeah, just keep it the same. The less variables that you're doing, the better. Keep it constant. What's up, Nancy? Do I recommend sugar-free products at all? Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of sugar-free products, and aspartame, before anybody gets at me like before, is completely safe for human consumption. The studies that they did on aspartame are, number one, on rats. Number two, they were hyperdosed. What that means is that they fed these rats a insane amount of aspartame and they saw some effects. But we're not rats, and we're not consuming an oil tanker's worth of aspartame every single day. We're drinking a couple of cans of Coke maybe and using a bit of sugar-free sweetener. That's it, right? The world's not going to end. You'll be absolutely fine. Do I recommend walking more than running to begin cardio? Absolutely. Start walking, maybe start jogging if you want to. I personally don't. And then start running if you want to. What kind of workout regimen should a beginner seek out for strength and weight loss in mind? My glutes are so bad, it's not even funny. You can't do a sit-up. I don't like doing sit-ups personally. They're not as beneficial as people think they are. As far as working out, I would primarily focus on trying to hit every single muscle group twice a week. So how this could look for you is maybe 2 full body workouts a week. This could be maybe an upper body workout followed by a lower body workout, followed by a full body workout. Try to target every muscle group twice a week in whichever fashion you want to do it. Maybe you want to do, I don't know. I mean, there's so many choices. You can do a push day, a pull day, and then maybe push and legs, pull and legs, and then like a full body day, something like that, right? Just try to target your muscle groups at least twice a week to get the most bang for your buck. Just make sure you try to hit failure for at least a good number of those sets so you can actually grow properly. Don't just do 100 reps with 2 pounds and then think that you're going to tone your muscle. It's not going to happen. There's that tone, the entire word it's made up. You can't tone your muscle. What's a calorie deficit? Calorie deficit is essentially your body maintains weight on a certain number of calories. And if you take in less calories than your body needs to maintain its weight on, you're effectively in a calorie deficit. So it's pretty much consuming less than your body needs to maintain its weight on. So if your body maintains weight on 2,500 calories, you're consuming 22,000 calories, you're at a 500 calorie deficit. What's the best food tracker? I just stick to MyFitnessPal. Keep it simple. When really sick or flu, do I still work out? No. I wait till I'm at least like 90% better. I just focus on nutrition, recovery, and maybe doing some steps or cardio outside for fresh air. Sriracha's demon sauce. Absolutely. I love sriracha. What's up, Zach? You lost 100 pounds over 10 months. That's amazing. I was dedicated to joining the military and finally achieved that goal. I'm proud of you, man. That's military entry is no joke. Their physical requirement tests are very, very rigorous. After I reach my goal, I'll let my foot off the gas pedal. How do you keep the mentality? One thing that everybody needs to understand as far as not just weight loss, but the whole fitness journey is that it's now a lifestyle for you. It has to be a lifestyle. I'm not saying you got to work out strenuously every day, do tons of walking every day, eat in a deficit all the time, but you have to be mindful of it, right? It's a lifestyle for you. It's not a short-term thing that you do and kind of stop doing it once you reach your goal. That's what people fall off track oftentimes. It's now a lifestyle for you in some regard. So what are you doing now? Like, what habits have you built during those 10 months that will allow you to make those habits a second nature for yourself, right? Or did you just focus on the number on the scale and just do whatever it took to reach the number on the scale? Because if you lose weight and you only focus on the number on the scale without any habits that kind of are the common denominator for that weight loss, you will likely lose the weight and then just go back to your old ways, or your mentality might not have changed because you didn't do any habits that are, allow you to keep the weight off and keep your mentality in the same space. So focus on the things that will be beneficial for you as far as the habits, your non-negotiables, your eating patterns, your food choices, right? Stick to the same things and know that it's a lifestyle for you. It's not a short-term fix. What are my thoughts on fasting for weight loss? I have tried intermittent fasting for years, on and off. Recent studies have shown that, speaking of Coke, see, told you. As far as intermittent fasting, recent studies have shown that intermittent fasting is no more beneficial for weight loss than a regular calorie deficit. It's just coming from somebody who's done intermittent fasting before for years, on and off. However, you should maybe consider intermittent fasting if it fits your schedule, because if it fits your schedule, it will help you reach or be in a calorie deficit easier, right? Totally up to you. Is it necessary? No. Is it a good idea? For some people. If you're getting value so far from this video, drop a fire emoji down below. Justin, you can't get motivated. It's so annoying. You used to go to the gym at 7 p.m. 4 times by yourself. Just start slow, man. Just start slow. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be at least like 80% good enough. Just focus on being 80% good enough, right? Because oftentimes when you focus on being perfect, you set a very crazy high standard for yourself and you can't really reach that standard. Give yourself some wiggle room, right? Know that it's not the end of the world if you miss a workout, right? I used to be very, 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 I guess, meticulous with getting my workouts in every day or 6 times a week, right? And then I learned that I don't have to be that rigid with my workouts. It's okay if I miss a few days. And it took me years to get to that mindset. So I'm telling you, from not just for myself, but from coaching a lot of people, like if you think you have to be perfect, you're wrong. That's just point blank. Just be good enough, but you have to be good enough consistently. And the consistency in being good enough will provide you with so much success that trying to be, or if you focused on perfection instead, you wouldn't reach the same level of success. You slowly stop doing cardio sessions, tracking calories. How do you find the balance from enjoying foods and living life without always being mindful or staying to a strict regimen? So being mindful and staying on a strict regimen is totally different, right? When I say that you should be mindful of things, I'm just talking about making better food choices, limiting more greasy foods, limiting oily foods, limiting highly processed or highly palatable foods, and choosing more fruits and vegetables, more proteins, having snacks once in a while, right? Um, that's all I'm saying. Don't be super strict. Just be good enough. Like, just pick better choices. If you have the option of eating, I don't know, or fried Oreos or like a bowl of pasta, right? It's not like the choice of pasta is that much better, but it's better, right? If you have a choice between, let's say, um, uh, I don't know, fried chicken fingers and maybe some grilled chicken breast, choose the grilled chicken breast. Like, little choices. Doesn't have to be weighed food. Doesn't have to be like prepared that or food that you've prepared that you're super accountable for. It's just a better choice, right? Just lean yourself towards the better, not the best direction, but towards the better direction. That's it. You used to vomit and you don't recommend that to anyone. Yeah, but the fact that you've gotten over that is amazing. How much do you walk daily? How fast do I walk? I walk at a normal pace. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not power walking. I'm not leisurely, like slowly walking. It's a decent pace. I walk 10,000 steps per day. Do I have any recommendations on good walking shoes? So you want shoes that are pretty cushiony, from what I understand, because I've researched this to a decent degree. I like shoes that have the Boost sole, which is like the Adidas very foamy shoes. You can also get the top of the line shoes are um, Hoka's, Hoka. I haven't gotten those myself. They're probably going to be my next purchase, but I've heard from a lot of people that Hoka shoes are just absolutely amazing for walking, running, and jogging. So if you want, like, I have a mentality of like buy it for life or buy it once. Like, I would rather spend more money to buy something amazing and use it all the time than to buy 2, 3 things that are kind of like good enough but not that great. So buy it once, and if I had to recommend, I would probably recommend the Hoka shoes instead of the Boost shoes that I currently have myself, just because I know that those are better. But if you want the Boost shoes, they're cheaper, but they're also very good. That's where I currently walk in myself. What's up, Brianna? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do I count my steps from the whole day or just on a walk? Yeah, I mean, focus on getting X amount of steps from the time that you wake up to the time you go to sleep. That's it. Keep it simple. So, Debbie, you're vegetarian, you're trying to get close to 150 grams of protein. It's not as high as some. Listen, 150 grams is definitely high. That's amazing. Um, I know it's not as high as some, struggling to get more without going over my calories. Will this work? Listen, if you're comfortable at 150 grams, the biggest thing about protein people get a very like a misconstrued idea about is they got to eat a lot of protein. No, if you're like a bodybuilder or you're strength training and you're very like serious about that as far as a sport or maybe a show, sure, absolutely. But for the average person trying to put on some muscle, trying to be healthy, lose weight, you don't need that much protein. And it's definitely less than a lot of people think they actually need. So Debbie, just keep it 150 grams. Don't worry about it. Yeah, working out first thing in the morning completely puts your day in the best. Uh, like your day just starts better, right? You're gonna eat better properly. You might make better choices for the day. You are going to stay on track. And because you stay on track, because you worked out in the morning, you're going to feel better about yourself. So it's like a scale, right? How much does a workout suck in the morning? It sucks a decent amount. But how great are you going to feel if you get that workout done? You're going to feel amazing. I mean, no, the scales will be tipped this way. You're going to feel amazing. So this feeling great about morning workout will be much better than trying to, you know, feel like a zombie through a workout. What do I think about upper, lower, upper, lower, upper routine for aesthetics? Um, I would definitely try to have a rest day between the first upper and lower and the second upper and lower. I mean, the thing about workout routines is people shouldn't look at workout routines on a 7-day basis. You should look at it as on a basis of weeks that have no days. So essentially, if you're doing two different upper and lower workout, let's say you have two upper workouts that are different and two lower body workouts that are different, right? Do your upper and lower workouts, have a rest day. Let's say it's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is off. Thursday and Friday is a different upper and lower. Saturday is off. Like the days that you work out will change because the consistency of your workouts change the days that you do them on, if that makes any sense. Right. So some days you may work out on Monday and Tuesday. Some days you may work out on Tuesday and Wednesday because the days that the workouts fall on just so happen to be that way because it's spaced out that way. Right. So if you want to do upper and lower, I would definitely recommend to have two upper body days, two different upper body days, and two different lower body days, and have a rest day between the first upper and lower and the second upper and lower. If that makes any sense. Do I have any advice about muscle soreness? My body's always sore. The best thing about muscle soreness is to first of all, increase the frequency of your workouts. Because if you work out once this week, twice in 2 weeks, right, the irregularity of your workouts will make you be super sore because you're not that frequent. You're not as consistent with the workouts. So increase the consistency of your workouts. But on top of that, don't push yourself so much every workout because you're trying to chase soreness. Soreness or feeling sore doesn't indicate your muscles growing or you're getting stronger. It's just a new stimulus. So the goal should be to get progressively stronger over time, not to chase soreness. If you're not sore, but you've gotten stronger at exercise, that's amazing. Don't be sore. So if you're sore, you're just not recovering properly. Don't chase soreness. It's a mistake that a lot of people, including myself, have made before. Are prescription diet pills ever a necessity? For the regular person who's trying to lose weight, pills are not the answer. However, there's certain people, like a very small percentage of people, who need medical pills. Those people there's very few people like this, but they do exist. And this person should go to a professional, a doctor who's a weight loss doctor, who will prescribe these pills only for the few instances that they might need those pills. For the 99% of people that are trying to lose weight and be healthy, pills are not necessary ever. Is weight training effective for weight loss? Yes and no. So your weight loss should come from your nutrition and from your cardio that you're doing. As far as weight training, you should weight train to get as strong as possible and put on as much muscle as possible. Look at it from that kind of perspective. You carry all your weight in your midsection. Any tips for working on your gut? So genetics going to play a big part into this, depending where you hold your body fat. The best thing that I can do is don't focus on working that specific area that's holding on that fat. Focus on losing fat everywhere, because once you can't spot reduce fat unless you're doing lipo, right? What you're gonna find is that once you lose fat everywhere, that area that's holding on the majority of that fat will also get reduced, and just keep pushing away brick by brick, and that area that's kind of stubborn right now will just become normal over time. What's up, Lisa? Something you didn't realize: your body burns calories just by functioning. Yeah. So your basal metabolic rate is how many calories you burn over or in a day from your body just being alive. And it's a crap ton. Way more than cardio, way more than weight training. It's a lot. People don't realize that. So just by sleeping or just laying in the bed out cold, you're still burning calories, which means that your metabolism is still working. When people say my metabolism isn't working, if your metabolism wouldn't be working, people would be dead. It's not possible. I just went on a tangent, but it's listen, everybody's metabolism works. People just look towards the easy, like, aha, my metabolism is broken. That's the easy way out. No, it's not. Your metabolism works. You just got to start to eat better, train a bit better, and be more self-accountable. Your metabolism can be a bit slower, but it's not broken. It's not something that you can actually just put a wrench to and that's fixed. It's your metabolism works. It just may not work as well as other people. You ran out of ideas for healthy snacks. You get stuck making the same thing over and over again. I need more recipes and ideas. So I have a recipe book if somebody wants it. It's a recipe book that has 5 ingredients or less. If you want to get a copy, you can go to my profile. But I post decent different snacks that I eat. You can definitely check out my reels, my posts, if you're curious. Also, I forgot to ask, but let me know down below when are the best times for you for these lives. Try and get a idea of when I should be doing them. You try my sriracha and Greek yogurt instead of spicy mayo. So amazing. Yeah. So spicy mayo is delicious, especially if you like eating sushi. But a good alternative to that is to just use a plain Greek yogurt and sriracha. It will be the same kind of color. It will taste very similar, and it'll be a lot better for you. What's up, Ziad? I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You're 125 kg and started on exercise and diet in addition to medication. Okay. Recommended by your doctor. Okay. Is there a limit to how many kgs I should lose each month? You lost 8 kgs in the first month. So he lost a bit under 20 pounds in a month. I would say in a month, every week I would aim for 1 to 2 pounds lost. So if I was to use a calculator, let's say the half a kg per week. So that would be what? 2 pounds divided by 2.2. The upper weight loss I would aim for is 0.9 kg, right? I would aim for about half to 0.9 or 1 kg per week because that would be a decent amount of weight loss that you can actually maintain over a long period of time. Because remember, 1 kg in a week is 52 kgs in a year. Put that into perspective, right? It's amazing you've lost 8 in a month, but 8 in a month is not very sustainable for a long period of time, which is, it's a reality. So I want to make sure you're doing things properly to be consistent. Hopefully that helps. The Texan Traveler says I went from 365 to 290 on keto. Also, you plateaued and want to switch up my diet to not restrict carbs. Your current BMR is 2,300, which eating 20. Your BMR is 2,300. You want to eat 2,000 and exercise 4 days a week. So your BMR and your total caloric requirements are two different things. BMR is how many calories your body burns just by being alive. This doesn't take into account your daily activities. If you're going out for a walk, if you're exercising, if you're eating food, your BMR gets increased, right? And I would say to eat more than that, maybe 3,000 calories, right? Because your BMR isn't how many calories you should be eating or how many calories your body burns. Your BMR is just a fraction of that. Because if you're working out, that will bump up your daily caloric burn way past 2,300, right? If you're walking your kids to school, if you're walking to work, your BMR is your BMR, but now your caloric requirement is elevated, right? So you want to definitely eat more than 2,300. I would say maybe 2,600. See how you do. Let's see. I appreciate everybody for being here. Friday or Saturday. Okay. Noon CST. You currently have a back injury, which has made it difficult to work out. Do you have any suggestions for small motion workouts that could work for someone who cannot fully bend down? Okay. You're currently overweight. Okay, so if you can't bend down, if you have a pair of dumbbells, what you can do is sit in a chair and do bicep curls and do overhead shoulder presses in a computer chair like mine that you can see behind me over here. You can also maybe lay down on the floor if you have no bench and do chest presses with dumbbells, right? You can also do overhead tricep extensions like this to work the triceps in a chair. Totally fine. If you have bands, you can do tricep push downs. You can do you can stick a band between a doorway and do a whole bunch of different exercises, right? So it depends on your injury. I don't know the specifics of your injury, but there's definitely things that you can do. Awesome. So if you got any value from this Q&A today so far, drop a fire emoji down below. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, and I appreciate everybody for being here. And if you want to work together, click the link in my bio, fill out that form, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.